Hi everyone. I just wanted to do something a little bit different. You know, I like to change things up. So I thought I would do a chakra balancing video. So just know that as you watch this video, whether the message resonates or not, your soul guidance team, my soul guidance team, or higher selves, we're all working together to balance your chakras as you watch this. We're going to go all the way from the soul star chakra to the crown, to the third eye, to the throat, to the heart, to the solar plexus, the sacral, the root, and the earth star chakra for both the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And yeah, so I hope that this helps. I hope you feel relief and it helps you feel more balanced and anchored. The energy isn't quite as intense, but we can kind of feel something happening with this solar eclipse happening tomorrow. So I thought I'd do a little chakra balance, get a little understanding to what's happening in our field, and I hope that this helps. It is a general reading, so take what resonates, leave the rest. You know, some of it might be for you, some of it might be for someone else. So I'm actually going to work my way up from the Earth Star to the Soul Star. The Earth Star chakra is actually not a part of our physical being, but it's actually below our being. It's our connection to Mother Earth. So it helps us anchor in our energy, connect to true abundance. It's not one we hear very often about, much like the Soul Star, but I think it's just as pivotal to our journey here on Earth. So I kind of want to see what's happening here. So I'm going to start with the feminine energy, and then we'll get into the masculine energy, or I'll do it each at a time. I'm going to play it by ear. So I've been guided to use these cards. It's a Soul's Journey deck. So as I read about the Earth Star, you can imagine it going down and connecting it, a beam of light connecting down into the heart of the earth. Okay. So I've asked that if any blockages are happening to come up to be released. Okay. So we have for the feminine energy, and I hope we can see this okay because I can't actually see the camera. The feminine energy is, we have envy here, okay? Whenever we feel envious of something that's happening with somebody else, or it's pretty much what it is, or we think we want something else, we're disconnecting from our true selves. We're disconnecting to the core of who we are, the connection, the strength that we can pull on from Mother Earth. I feel like it's making it difficult to anchor your energy, being caught up in the lives of others, perhaps what others have. I do this especially with other, tarot readers or other people. I think Taylor Swift said it the best: we all have crowns. Okay. Everybody's here for a purpose. So just know that maybe something is, if you're feeling envious in any way or it's putting you in an energy of lack, which makes it difficult I just want to make sure you guys can see that. Okay. It makes it difficult for you to really appreciate yourself and what you have and where you're at. So we're just going to clear that out. We're going to acknowledge it. We're going to thank it for showing up and reminding us of who we truly are and what we're really meant to be doing here. And we're going to release that because it is not ours. It doesn't belong to us. Okay. All right. So let's move into the root chakra. The root chakra, this is healing. This is red jasper. So it's healing, forgiving, acceptance, which I feel with our familial roots is very pivotal at this time, to release the energy around that. So let's kind of see what shows up here. I'm actually going to do it this way. So our root chakras are stability, our home, our connection to family, our connection to our ancestors, our lineage, our DNA. When it's out of balance, we feel unsafe. Look at that, yeah. So we have the Ace of Cups here. I'm hoping it shows up okay, guys, because I can't really see the camera. So self-love. Okay, if we think about where we first learned love of self, or sorry, clearing out that throat chakra. Okay, where we connect to who we are, or learn who we are, or learn what love is, or how to talk to ourselves or treat ourselves, it is from our family. It's from our parents, our siblings, our cousins, our aunts, our uncles, our grandparents, right? So I feel like there's a huge shift happening right now around understanding where you learned who you were and how you're re-scripting that for yourself, and knowing that in this seat of unconditional love, the inexhaustible source of love from within is what's going to help you heal those wounds. It's going to help you release those ideations of other people that created who you are, or how you talk to yourself, or how you see yourself. This is a heart awakening to oneness, but it's in your root chakra. So it's telling me that there's a lot of energy of really being aware of where our inner thoughts came from, okay? And for some, it's intergenerational. This isn't blaming just your parents or your grandparents. This is something that's been learned generation after generation after generation, okay? So this is a part of who you are, okay? So in the root chakra, I am. Okay, not the I am presence, but what you are, okay? And then we're going to move into the sacral chakra. This is carnelian, so this is passion, creativity. This is the seat of your sexual power, your creative power, the passion and inspiration you have for life. And this also is about what you are feeling, okay? So what is the feminine feeling at this time? Okay, where are those feelings coming up? Okay, yeah, so we have the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, lots of aces, lots of new beginnings coming with this eclipse is what I'm getting from this. If we can it is in reverse, so we'll talk about that in a moment, because it's showing up a little bit as a blockage. But if we can start to be really aware of our own self-sabotage and our own feelings about ourselves, we can start clearing those things and becoming more empowered in our life to create new beginnings. So the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, risk financial loss, missing the big picture, being overly greedy. I feel like this is more about, because for some energy it's coming up as I need to get mine. So when we get into that, and this isn't going to resonate with everyone, so again, just take what does resonate. So what I'm getting from that is you're being pushed to create new foundations, but not from a place of lack, not from a place of being like, I need to get mine, knowing that you already have yours and it's coming to you without you having to fight for it. And I feel like there's a bit of a creative block for a lot of the feminine collective, but it's only because right now we're having to clear out. We can't distract ourselves with new creative things when we need to heal the blockages that keep coming up for us. So it does feel uncomfortable, but we're going to keep doing this loop and this pattern until we recognize that we can't just ignore or band-aid the real issues. Predominantly how we see ourselves, predominantly how we learned who we are. All of those things are coming up, and it's that underneath. But once you get through that, once you acknowledge it, all you have to really do is acknowledge it and accept how it's affected you. And you can then, because you're at a state of awareness, you can never go back, right? You can never go back to those patterns. It's a whole new ball game from there on out, and one that you're destined to win, because you're actually controlling the score, if you will. Okay, so in the solar plexus, normally this stone is yellow of some color, because yellow associates with the solar plexus. But this, to me, it's a dragon stone, and there was something about it being empowering. And I feel like taking our power back is a huge part of it's a huge part of our transformation right now. No longer feeling disempowered, or thinking other things or bigger things are controlling our destiny, if you will. As you can see, I'm having a difficult time connecting. There's a lot of energetic interference, but I'm still feeling called to do this. So here we are. So bear with me, in other words. All right, so we have in the heart chakra, or in the solar plexus, okay, the 9 of Cups. Yes, okay. This tells me, okay, that we are being shifted to a place. Again, once we deal with these lower vibrational things that are keeping us in lack, okay, it's up to us. We are empowered to create our dreams, to manifest them, to create our abundance, doing what makes our soul sing and being completely supported by that, okay? Saying to yourself, you know what, this is amazing. How can it get any better than this? That's where we are. That's where we're at. I feel like this is, what are we doing? We're manifesting our dreams. The only thing stopping our dreams from actually coming into reality is our wounds that keep us in this place of disbelief and distrust. Okay. All right. So in our heart chakra, this is turquoise. And again, it's probably not normally a heart chakra stone, but the wording with it was about growth and positivity, because we always want our heart. Our heart is the center of the connection to love. I feel like, they all connect to love in different ways, and everybody has their own beliefs. So just, again, take what resonates. But I feel like when we expand our heart chakra, we allow more love and abundance in our life. We allow space to heal the things that are keeping us in lack. Okay. All right, so let's see what's going on. It's the I love, okay? What are the feminines loving right now? The 6 of Pentacles, very interesting card, okay? We have some balance here, giving and receiving, positive mindset, being in flow, but also accepting help from others, okay? When we are unable to accept help from others, it's a separation. What's coming to me is it's a separation of, how do I put this? Of thinking that you're weak if somebody helps you, that you're not capable if somebody helps you, and that's a limiting belief. So it's the 6 of Pentacles kind of is showing up here to say, you know what, there's give and take in everything, be in flow, just know when you accept help, you're also helping that person that's helping you. There's always an exchange to be had. And there's very much another layer, what I'm hearing, of awakening. And for many, it's coming through the power of the heart chakra, okay, for the feminine collective. Okay, so let's go ahead and see the throat. This is soda light, so this is communication and truth, okay? And I want to kind of see what's going on. I'm speaking, yeah. So we have the 2 of Wands, okay? The 2 of Wands is about, it's planning your future, okay? It's possibilities. A decision's been made, but there's some truths that you need to accept about your past so that you don't bring it into the future with you. So you don't bring it, so it's not alive in the present. It's almost like, I always feel like those low vibrational feelings, the shadow self, they're like a child that is being ignored. And so they keep coming up, and they keep coming up in the most outlandish ways to get our attention. So then when they get our attention, when we give them attention and acknowledge them and appreciate them for what they're showing us about ourselves, we get to release them and they no longer show up. We get to embrace them and bring them in as a part of ourselves and acknowledge that they've made us who we are and all of those good things. But it keeps us from, because what's happening, I feel we're in a state of suspension because we're trying so hard to get to this present place or this future place. But we're trying to bring all of our old stuff with us. So be mindful about that, okay? That's kind of what's happening. So what is the truth of your past? Can you face it? Can you acknowledge it and embrace it? Because that's empowering. It's almost like I'm being shown if somebody So an example, like if let's say you have like these skeletons in your closet, but you let all the skeletons out, no one can use them against you. So it's very empowering for you to acknowledge and embrace all of you and let go of the shame and the guilt or judgment of other people, because once you've done that, there's nothing anyone can do or say that's going to take power away from you. Okay. All right. So then we have amethyst in the third eye. I know that's probably not normally a third eye stone. I don't know. I kind of picked these based on how I felt about the energy of the stone when I picked it up, and the wording. And this was very much about intuition. It was trust and intuition, and we need to start trusting what we're seeing more, because it's more aligned with the truth of our own vibrational alignment, I guess, our own sight. So let's see what is happening with what we are seeing. Okay, so we have the Two of Cups, but it popped out in reverse. Okay, so there's some emotional blockages, okay, not being open to receiving love. So for the feminine energy, if you aren't receiving love, it's because on some level, and it's probably not your conscious self, but on some level, you are denying yourself love. So, and again, we have unions disrupted, we have disharmony, we have separation, okay, healing past love traumas. There's a part of you, perhaps your inner child or your adolescence part of you who, based on experiences that you've had, believe that you're not worthy of love. Okay, or that love has hurt you, so you really don't want it in your life, even though you see all these wonderful things about it, or you keep experiencing hurt with love. It's seeing the truth and where that's coming from, and being able to go to that point and heal that part of yourself, okay? To be able to heal and know that those experiences were somebody else most likely projecting their own wounds onto you that you took on as your own. I get it's more complicated than that. It's not easy. But when you can see the fact that you have emotional blockages, you're then in a seat of empowerment to being like, okay, I can take care of these. Okay, instead of saying the universe is against you, or you're not supported, or love isn't for you, and all that, the sort of that it's a victimhood energy. We all have it. There's no judgment with that. We were raised in it. That's kind of, the oppression around love. Okay. Very, very interesting. And we're heading into the first decade of Cancer. So it's not surprising. I feel like this is going to be very clear to us feminines. Okay. This is going to be very clear in the very near future. Okay, especially with this eclipse, I feel like there's going to be a real aha moment around that. Okay, all right, let's take a look. This is a rainbow quartz, and it was about like manifestation and joy and abundance, and it's with the crown. Being open to the clarification of all of those things with the crown chakra. Okay, this is sort of our little antenna to the universe, if you will. It kind of filters through the third eye, and the third eye shows us what information is coming through. So let's see what is happening. So we have the Seven of Swords with the crown chakra. I feel like a lot of feminines are not trusting their own knowledge that's coming through. Okay, this is a distrust energy. They're feeling deceived, okay, because they know things, but it's not playing out in the physical the way that they know things to be. And that's only because, okay, their energy around their feelings of lack, okay, the energy around lack, the energy of not being worthy of love is overriding the energy of their knowing. Okay, their energy of the knowing and the energy of what they, I guess, subconscious energy is not in alignment, and the subconscious energy is winning. It's creating the reality that they're in. So the wounds, in other words, the wounds that are there, okay, and something else came through. I'll get to that in a second. The wounds that are there are filtering the truth of the situation. So it's very difficult to be like, well, I know this to be true. This is what's being shown to me, but that's not the reality that I'm living in. So it's hard for me to believe and trust what's going on up here when I'm experiencing things down here. But we only experience what our energy projects for us. Okay, so now I lost what came. It'll come back. Well, lost what flow was happening here with with going into, oh yes, and the wounds, okay? So a lot of you feminines have worked on your wounds, okay, of being aware of them. But there's this part that needs to be shifted, and maybe this is what the eclipse will help with. And you can ask for help with this, but there's from your soul guidance team, but there's this part that's like, I don't know who I am without all of this trauma, and that terrifies me. So I hang on to this little part of myself that disrupts the entire alignment of who I am and what I know to be true. So there might be, if you want to ask, I know the new moon generally isn't about releasing, but maybe it's calling in help or bringing in help to remedy or release that part of you that's not really you. It might be the only you you've ever known, but it's not the real you, okay? All right, so let's get to the soul star chakra. The soul star chakra, from what I understand it to be, is the connection to your higher self, your highest self, your cosmic self, that part of you, that soul part of you, that pure, unwounded, in a complete alignment part of you. That is your connection. It's unfortunate that it's above you, okay? But it is just energy, and how the energy connects. It still connects and comes through you, okay? So let's see what's happening with the soul star chakra. Okay. All right, so yeah, so we have the King of Pentacles, but it's in reverse. Over obsessing about riches, seeking status, materialism. This is more to me about not being able to balance your material and spiritual needs, not being able to incorporate your higher self more into your physical life. Kind of getting stuck in the ego as a default program, is a default way of dealing with things, instead of being able to balance the two and have them work together. The ego is not a bad thing unless it's running the show. It's actually there to help you, but it becomes like a hover parent or an overbearing parent and starts to kind of take over everything. But the higher self, if you bring that in, they can work beautifully together to create magic. So for some of you, it's going to be really important to start maybe doing more meditations to connect to your higher self. I prefer calling it my cosmic self or my inner self, my true self, only because it could be like my I am present. Some people refer to it like that, only because sometimes the connotation about being a higher self means that you have to be higher vibrationally to connect to that part of you, but that's not true. That's a part of you. It belongs to you. You can connect to it at any time. It makes it more difficult when there's lower vibrational energies present, but when you bring your higher self in, it helps bring clarity to how to deal with those things. It's going to be different for everyone, but I feel like this major shift, especially with June being such a yin month, such an inner month, that when we come to July being a yang month, where we're going to take action, I think it's going to be very clear to help you how to take action with these things. So that is the feminine side of things. Let's take a look at the masculine side of things, okay? What is happening with the masculine energies? Whether you're twin flames or not, in a soul connection, well, or like the planet is full of feminine and masculine energies, okay? So we're gonna just kind of roll with that and see where that takes us. So what's happening with the Earth Star Chakra? And this is leopard jasper, and it is about groundedness, and purity, I believe. But I felt like it was a very connected, very grounded stone. So, right, let's see what's happening with the masculines here. Yeah, okay. So they're being guided to balance their own energy, okay? I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment, okay? While the feminine energy is very cognizant of all of this and all of the intricate workings of the energy and emotion, because that's the divine feminine part of their purpose, the masculines are not like that. They don't have They don't do the intricate weaving. A lot of the stuff happens behind the scenes, and they deal with a lot of the physical stuff, like a lot of the human stuff, right? They balance the human stuff. The feminine balances the spiritual, energetic stuff, okay? And it's neither one is easier than the other, just so we're clear. They're both very difficult jobs, but with the energy and all the work that everybody's been doing, it's actually getting a lot easier and better. Okay. All right, let's see what's happening in their root chakra. So who they are right now. Okay. Okay. So we have the Six of Wands and we have it in reverse. What I get from this energy is this is not seeing eye to eye, okay? Pessimism, resentment, self-doubt, a need for validation. What I'm getting from this, especially with the root chakra being tied so closely to family, I feel like a lot of the masculines are uprooting a lot of stuff around their own family issues. Okay, not seeing eye to eye with their family beliefs, having resentment towards their family because they have so much self-doubt because of it. We kind of do that when we wake up. We start questioning everything. Then we move into a state of blame. Okay, and then we move into a state of awareness and then responsibility and so on and so forth. So I feel like at the very root of things, okay, at the very root of their human selves, they're recognizing a lot of stuff around their family beliefs and kind of where their drive and motivation for doing things is coming from. You know, being shifted into a place of acknowledging all the things they've accomplished in spite of that, accepting that part of their accomplishments might have been because of that drive or that expectation. But right now it's very much not, like it's very... and it's okay, just so you know, it's not to worry about them. They have to process things in the physical, and they have to be difficult in order for them to understand it. They have to experience it. The feminine is almost, you know, when we think about information and how it's processed with extroverts, you can throw metaphor after metaphor and they understand it. They can envision it. They can experience it on an energetic or emotional level. The masculines, and this isn't to say that there aren't extroverted masculines. That's not what I'm saying. It's just an example. Introversions have to experience it in order to understand it. The masculines have to experience things in order to understand it. The feminines don't have to necessarily experience it in order to understand it. It's just a different way that the ego and the energy processes, okay? So for them, they're in the thick of things with their family, and it's showing up in their face, in their face, in their face. So I gave an example in one of my videos because I feel like it keeps coming up, so I'm going to keep driving it home. So where the feminine might have feelings about materialism, okay, or falsehood or being fake, okay, the masculine, like that, and they have feelings about it, so they learn around those feelings and deal with them accordingly. The masculines, fake people, materialistic people, false people will show up in their lives, and they will experience that with them in order to understand it, in order to understand what they need to work through. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so let's move into the sacral chakra. What is going on with how they're feeling right now with the masculine energy, the divine masculine? Okay, so we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. Not surprising, because they're still in this state of lack, okay? There's still a bit of codependency here, but again, this eclipse is coming in to help deal with all of these things, okay? It's coming in to help them balance everything on a very cellular level. So we have hoarding, lack mentality, holding on too tightly out of fear, okay? realizing that they're too attached to material things, to attachment. I think it's to status. So I think it's interesting that we talked about materialism, and it shows up here in their sacral chakra. It's a block to their own passion and their own creativity. They're feeling stunted in their growth right now because they're too attached to things that are not a true value of who they are. They're seeking validation from something that can never even truly encompass their value, right? It's an outside validation. So all of these things they have to experience, and who knows how many times they have to experience it, but they have to experience it in order to move through it and let it go. So the thing is that every time they experience it, there is change. And that's what's really important to understand. All right, let's go into the solar plexus, the seat of empowerment. Okay, so what are they doing right now? Okay, a lot of these are coming up in reverse, and my deck is not in reverse. We have the King of Pentacles, so it's interesting that we have this up here with the higher self, and then we have it over here in the solar plexus for the masculine. Okay, obsessed with riches, seeking status. Okay, thinking that their material wealth, okay, is the peak of power for them, or is the point of power for them, that they've given all of their power away to other people. They've given all their power away to a certain amount in their bank account or to a certain title. Okay, and when you do that, you know, it's sort of like putting other people's currency in your bank vault. It's never actually going to pay dividends for you. It's never actually going to mature. It's never going to fill the bank, because only your currency can fill your bank. But they're learning this. This is what's coming up for the divine masculine with this eclipse, okay? In the heart chakra, okay, what are they loving right now? Okay, so sorry, I'm going to go back to this. They're being shown that the only way to actually have true power is to balance their own material and spiritual needs, okay? Because they're not meeting their spiritual needs whatsoever, their love of self. So we have the Strength card and we have the Seven of Pentacles, okay? So they're in a state of, especially when it comes to love, they're being bolstered with a lot of courage right now, okay? It takes a lot of courage to be able to face these things and acknowledge them, but they're doing that, and they're loving that it's giving them, what I'm hearing is it's giving them hope. It's giving them hope beyond what they've always known, being stuck in here, but as they move through, they move out of that density. So the Seven of Pentacles is sort of a reflection. They're reflecting how they feel. They're reflecting what they truly love. Very interesting. All these cards were all over. Okay. They're being patient, but they're also not holding back. Okay. Their heart chakra, the energy from their heart chakra, from their higher self, from their soul guidance team, if they're in a divine connection, from their divine counterpart, is not holding back. Okay. It's a constant flow of reminders, but this is also teaching them about compassion, aligning their head and their heart, showing them that certain things are out of alignment, but to be patient with themselves as they learn about these things, okay? All right, so what are they speaking right now? We have the throat chakra. Okay, so we have the Tower. Okay. So life becoming stale, refusing to change, fear of the unknown, and denial. Okay. So they're either going to be the force for change or be subjected to it. And that's the truth of the reality for them, whether they're willing to acknowledge it, because we do have denial here. I think they're in denial about how much they've let their lives get out of alignment. Okay, I was gonna say out of control, but I think it's definitely being controlled by other people, and not necessarily by them. So I think the Tower's coming in. The truth is their Tower is coming. It could be multiple towers, it could be a major tower, but just to know again that the masculine, I know the feminines get frustrated with them. because it's so clear to you, but they have to experience these things in order to change. And that's what they signed up for. If we can, as feminines, sit in the seat of love and acceptance for them and go back to doing what we do best, and just providing them a space to go through these difficult motions in order to learn, that I think that will offer you a lot of balance and alignment as well. Okay. All right, so what's going on with their third eye? What are they seeing right now? Okay. We have the Hermit. So inner reflection, meditation, contemplation, soul searching. They're soul searching right now. Okay, taking the time for self. They're seeing that there's something not right here. So they're searching for an answer, but they're still not willing to change yet because they don't know how. Okay. And that's not for all of the divine masculines. There are some that are in very different places, but for the majority, this is kind of where they're at. But just know that it's important that they're here, right? This is present in their lives. They're acknowledging it. They're aware that something is not right. They may not know what to do about it yet, but they're acknowledging it. They're in denial about the change coming, about the fact that this is about to blow up in their face, okay? But it's okay. That's part of their process. It's what they signed up for, and there's a purpose to it, okay? Because there's many different energies involved in their lives that have to experience that tower with them, okay? It's not just about them. It's not just about the feminine. It's about all the people involved, okay? All right, so let's take a look at the crown chakra. What are they knowing or understanding? Okay. The Four of Cups, boredom, okay, not appreciating what you have, missed opportunities, introspection, apathy, reconnecting to magic, okay? It's a very interesting card, but the boredom and frustration really stand out to me. They know that they're frustrated. They know that they're bored. They know something's not right. But again, there's kind of that inability, and I think that's the Seven of Pentacles right in the heart chakra. Inability to do anything about it but reflect. But there's a purpose to that too. Sometimes we're not supposed to take action, and we can't, because we have to learn certain things before we do. So let's take a look at their connection to their higher self. Okay. All right, so again, all these cards, with the exception of the Hermit, is in reverse. Very interesting. Okay, and the Strength card and this. So lots of reverse cards here. I guess that one's on. Just keeps coming up. All right, so we have the Three of Cups. Okay, so there's a miscommunication, disputes, feeling left out. Okay, they are not really connected to their higher self as purely as they could be. But again, it makes sense if they're staying in down here and getting stuck in the merry-go-round of all the different dense energies around them. They're not able to come here and connect to their true self. But that doesn't mean that their higher self isn't helping them or their spirit guides aren't helping them. They are still being helped. It's just in a very different way. And this happens when you first kind of start waking up, right? So I feel like there's a miscommunication between their higher self and their human self at this moment. But it's just because they haven't learned enough to step out of this energy. But know that that's coming, okay? And what's being guided to me is that they're not going to be like, I feel like I'm being shown by the collective that they think when the masculine wakes up and he's going to understand energy, that he's going to become like this. And I hate to say these stereotypical terms, but here it's coming through for somebody watching this, or for a few people watching. He's going to become some hippie, hippie loving person, smoking joints all the time. I don't know where that's coming from. The masculine is still going to be the masculine. They're still going to be handling stuff in the physical. They're just going to be more awake, more aware, and more responsible, but they're still going to be the masculine energy. That doesn't change. It's just going to evolve from the concept of what a masculine is supposed to be. Okay, it's going to become this really beautiful hybrid of strength and confidence and compassion and unconditional love and acceptance, okay, instead of this proving one's worth energy. So I hope that that's helped, guys. I know it's kind of a new thing. I hope it's helped understand. I hope you feel better. Be your peace, love yourself, share your light, and have an amazing day.